The WWE Universe just exploded with the most shocking announcement of the year as Roman Reigns has finally broken his silence and revealed the names of his handpicked warriors for Survivor Series. If you want to stay updated with all the latest WWE news and exclusive revelations like this one, then hit that subscribe button right now because you don't want to miss what's coming next. The Tribal Chief has made his choices, and trust me when I say this changes absolutely everything we thought we knew about the upcoming battle at Survivor Series. Roman Reigns stood in the center of the ring with Paul Heyman by his side holding that microphone like he was about to declare war on the entire roster. The atmosphere was electric and you could feel the tension building as everyone waited to hear who would have the honor of standing alongside the Tribal Chief. Heyman started speaking in his usual theatrical manner, building up the suspense with every word that came out of his mouth. He talked about how his client had carefully selected individuals who understood what it meant to acknowledge the Tribal Chief and who were worthy enough to fight under his banner. The crowd was going absolutely insane with anticipation because everyone knew that whoever Reigns chose would instantly become the most talked about superstars in the company. The first name that came out of Paul Heyman's mouth sent shockwaves through the arena, and that name was Solo Sikoa. Now this wasn't entirely surprising given their family connection and the fact that Solo has been proving himself week after week with dominant performances. But what made this announcement so significant was the way Reigns looked at Solo when his name was called. There was this intensity in his eyes that said he expected nothing less than absolute domination from his younger brother. Solo stepped forward and stood next to Reigns with that same stoic expression that has become his signature look. The crowd had mixed reactions because while some people respected the family bond, others felt like this was just another example of Reigns stacking the deck in his favor. But then came the second announcement, and this is where things got really interesting. Paul Heyman paused for dramatic effect before revealing that the next member of Roman Reigns' Survivor Series team would be none other than Jimmy USO. The arena erupted because everyone knows the complicated history between these two family members. Jimmy has had his ups and downs with Roman over the past couple of years, and there were times when it seemed like their relationship was completely fractured. But here we are seeing Jimmy back in the fold, standing by his cousin's side once again. The look on Jimmy's face told 1,000 stories as he made his way to the ring. You could see the emotion in his eyes, the weight of family loyalty mixed with the memories of all the conflicts they've had. When Jimmy and Roman locked eyes, there was this moment of understanding that passed between them like an unspoken agreement that whatever happened before was in the past and now they were united for a common purpose. The third name had everyone talking and speculating for days leading up to this announcement. Paul Heyman took his time milking every second of suspense before finally revealing that LA Knight would be joining Roman Reigns' team. This was the curveball nobody saw coming because LA Knight has been on an absolute tear lately, making a name for himself with his incredible charisma and in-ring skills. Knight has never been the type to bow down to anyone, and his presence on this team raised so many questions. Was this a strategic move by Reigns to align himself with one of the hottest rising stars in WWE, or was there something more calculated going on behind the scenes? When LA Knight's music hit and he walked out to the ring, the energy completely shifted. He had this confident swagger about him as he made his way down the ramp, taking in the crowd's reaction. The interaction between Knight and Reigns was fascinating to watch because neither man seemed willing to show any sign of submission. They stood face to face for what felt like an eternity before finally acknowledging each other with a nod. This partnership could either be the most dominant force we've seen in years, or it could implode spectacularly, and honestly both scenarios are equally compelling. The fourth member announcement brought another layer of intrigue to this already stacked team. Paul Heyman's voice boomed through the speakers as he announced that Carmelo Hayes would be the next warrior to fight alongside the Tribal Chief. This selection proved that Roman Reigns wasn't just picking people based on family ties or political alliances. Carmelo Hayes represents the future of WWE, and his inclusion on this team shows that Reigns is thinking strategically about building something that extends beyond just this one match. Hayes has been impressive since arriving on the main roster, showcasing a combination of athleticism, technical skill, and natural charisma that has caught everyone's attention. When his name was called, Hayes walked out with a huge smile on his face, clearly understanding the magnitude of this opportunity. Being selected by Roman Reigns to be on his Survivor Series team is like receiving the ultimate stamp of approval in WWE. The respect between Hayes and Reigns was evident as they shook hands in the ring, and you could see that Hayes was ready to prove that he belonged on this elite level. The final announcement was the one that sent social media into an absolute frenzy and had wrestling fans debating for hours after the show ended. Paul Heyman built up the suspense to almost unbearable levels before finally revealing that the fifth member of Roman Reigns' Survivor Series team would be GUSO. The crowd absolutely lost their minds when G's name was announced because of all the history and emotional turmoil between him and Roman. These two have been through everything together, from tag team championships to bitter family feuds that tore them apart. G walking out to join his cousin's team felt like the culmination of years of storytelling coming full circle. You could see the emotion written all over G's face as he made that walk down to the ring. There was hesitation in his steps, like he was still processing whether this was really happening. When G finally stepped into the ring and stood face to face with Roman, the entire arena went silent. These two men who had fought against each other so many times, who had said such harsh things to one another, were now standing side by side ready to fight together once again. Roman extended his hand to G, and for a moment it looked like G might reject it, but then he reached out and clasped his cousin's hand, pulling him in for an embrace that had everyone feeling emotional. With the full team now assembled, Roman Reigns stood in the center of the ring surrounded by Solo Sikoa, Jimmy Uso, LA Knight, Carmelo Hayes and G Uso. This was a collection of talent that looked absolutely unstoppable on paper. Each member brought something unique to the table, whether it was raw power, technical excellence, high-flying ability, or pure charisma. Paul Heyman took the microphone one more time to address the WWE Universe, and he made it crystal clear that this team wasn't just assembled to win at Survivor Series. This team was assembled to send a message to everyone in the locker room that Roman Reigns' reign of dominance was far from over. Heyman's words carried weight as he promised that any team foolish enough to step into the ring with this group would be absolutely destroyed. The implications of this team announcement extend far beyond just the Survivor Series match itself. By bringing together this specific group of individuals, Roman Reigns has created a potential faction that could dominate WWE programming for months or even years to come. The chemistry between these five men will be crucial because while they all share a common goal right now, there are so many underlying tensions and potential conflicts that could surface at any moment. LA Knight is known for being a lone wolf who doesn't play well with others. G Uso has trust issues when it comes to Roman after everything they've been through. Jimmy Uso is trying to balance his loyalty to family with his own aspirations. Solo Sikoa is constantly trying to prove himself worthy of the family legacy. And Carmelo Hayes is the newcomer trying to establish his place among these established stars. The backstage reactions to Roman Reigns' team announcement were just as interesting as the announcement itself. Several WWE superstars were interviewed immediately after the segment, and their responses ranged from impressed to concerned to outright intimidated. Some wrestlers admitted that facing this team would be the toughest challenge of their careers, while others tried to act confident, claiming they could expose weaknesses in what seemed like a perfect lineup. The general manager looked visibly stressed, knowing that this dominant force would now be unleashed on the Survivor Series card. There were even rumors circulating that some wrestlers were requesting to be kept off the opposing team because they didn't want to be embarrassed on such a big stage. The strategy behind Roman Reigns' selections became clearer when you started analyzing each member's strengths and how they complement each other. Solo Sikoa brings that raw, intimidating presence and devastating power moves that can change the momentum of a match in seconds. Jimmy Uso provides veteran experience and incredible tag team chemistry, having been one half of one of the greatest tag teams in WWE history. LA Knight adds unpredictability and microphone skills that can get under opponents' skin before the match even starts. Carmelo Hayes brings speed, agility and innovative offense that can catch opponents off guard. And G Uso rounds out the team with his never-give-up attitude and ability to connect with the crowd on an emotional level. Together these five men form a unit that has virtually no weaknesses when you look at the complete package. Training footage has already started circulating showing Roman Reigns putting his team through rigorous preparation sessions. The tribal chief isn't leaving anything to chance as he demands perfection from each member during practice runs. There were moments of tension during these training sessions, particularly between LA Knight and the Uso brothers, who have very different wrestling philosophies. Knight prefers a more aggressive in-your-face style, while the Usos rely on teamwork and coordinated attacks. Roman had to step in multiple times to mediate and remind everyone that egos needed to be checked at the door if they wanted to achieve victory. Carmelo Hayes seemed to be the one who adapted most easily to the team dynamic, showing his willingness to learn from the veterans while also contributing his own ideas. Solo Sikoa mostly stayed quiet during these sessions, but his actions spoke louder than words as he demolished everyone during sparring sessions. The opposing team has been announced, and they represent some of the biggest names in WWE right now. This sets up what could potentially be one of the greatest Survivor Series matches in recent memory. The contrast in styles between the two teams creates so many interesting possibilities for how the match could unfold. Will Roman Reigns' team rely on their power advantage, or will they try to outwork their opponents with superior conditioning? How will the individual egos on both sides affect team cohesion when the pressure is at its highest? These are the questions that have fans buzzing with excitement as we count down the days to Survivor Series. Paul Heyman has been doing media appearances all week, hyping up Roman Reigns' team and making bold predictions about their dominance. He's been particularly vocal about how this team represents the past, present and future of WWE, all rolled into one cohesive unit. Heyman pointed out that you have established legends like Roman and the Usos combined with the next generation stars like Solo, Carmelo and LA Knight. This blend of experience and hunger creates a dangerous combination that he believes is unbeatable. His confidence has only added more fuel to the fire, making the anticipation for this match reach fever pitch levels. The merchandise sales following this announcement have been through the roof as fans rush to buy shirts representing their favorite team members. WWE has capitalized on this momentum by releasing special Survivor Series themed gear featuring all five members of Roman Reigns' team. The image of these five warriors standing together has become iconic before they've even competed in a single match together. Social media engagement has skyrocketed, with fans creating fantasy booking scenarios and predicting how the match will play out. Some fans are creating elaborate theories about potential betrayals while others are convinced this team will steamroll through the competition without breaking a sweat. As Survivor Series approaches, the intensity continues to build with each passing week. Roman Reigns has made it clear through his actions and words that failure is not an option for his team. The pressure is immense, but that's exactly what brings out the best in these performers. Every member of this team has something to prove, whether it's maintaining their position at the top like Roman or establishing themselves as main event players like Carmelo. The stakes have never been higher, and the entire WWE Universe is watching to see if this dream team can live up to the enormous expectations that have been placed upon them. Make sure you subscribe to stay updated on every development leading up to what promises to be an unforgettable night at Survivor Series, because this is just the beginning of what could be a historic chapter in WWE history.